Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are going to talk about energy healing today and how it can really change your mindset, refocus your life. I know it's a little woo-woo. How does this stuff all work? I'm going to talk about it firsthand after having a session with her. And she is a Reiki master, teacher, practitioner at Inner Journey Reiki. She is Purnima Chaudhari, and she's back with us. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you, Steve. Good to be here.
So we figured let's do a session on me so I can walk everybody else through the journey. I've had them done before. I've had them done in person, but mostly virtual. Yours was virtual. I'm in New York. You're in Hawaii. I've never experienced what I've experienced in a session the way I've experienced after yours. Lots to dissect here. And we haven't spoken since the session. And by the way, when it was done, just so everybody understands, we didn't even talk. It was just basically you send me a text, meditation, start at a certain time, which was 8 p.m. Eastern. You're done about an hour later, and you send some follow-up audio of things you saw and things you felt. I can tell you this. I sort of felt you during the session, but I'm going to be honest and I have a question based on that. You wanted me in a, quiet situation, relaxed and meditating. I was in the middle of doing something that ran late, so I didn't get home at the beginning of the session. Probably, a half hour in-ish, something like that. So I wasn't truly in a relaxed, rested situation. Does that make a big difference?
In terms of healing, no, it doesn't make a difference because Reiki works regardless of what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the experience itself, yes, it makes a difference because, when you're quiet, when you're in that meditative state, you're able to feel things more, whether it is, viscerally, like physically, or any other sensations that might arise. You will be more tuned into it. So in terms of that, yes, it does make a difference.
So I didn't feel those benefits. However, that was Thursday night. You were done about 9-ish. Went to bed around 10:30. I had the craziest dreams like I never experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
Like just bizarre. That's all I'm going to say. Not a bad thing, but just my thinking was something's different here. So fast forward to the rest of the weekend, I felt just what you said, oddly tired. I would even text a couple of friends. I'm like, I'm weirdly tired. I don't know what it is, but it's not like it's not like I'm just tired. It's like it was my body saying, you need to stop. You need to just chill out, and because I'm always running, you need to relax. And it was almost like brain foggy to the point where it's like yesterday, I had breakfast with my son, met him at a diner, and I was like, yeah, it's weird. I can't really think clear. I got sleep the night before, went home, took a nap on a weekend, woke up, I'm like, I'm better now. Things like that, which shows me that something took place here with Reiki, but the overall feeling was clarity, a desire to make change in my life, calmness, again, clarity. I even started reading a book yesterday afternoon. It's a bestseller back in the day, like 20 years ago. It's called The Power of Now. Started reading that. So there was definitely something that took place. There was a transformation because, and I am tying it right back to your session because this all took place even when I went to bed. That was the beginning of it. And just, had an odd feeling. I don't mean bad, just different feeling all weekend long. And again, a sense of clarity, calmness. Um, what did you feel? Let's recap that. What did you know during the session? You shared some things. I love what you call it. You call it a love note, and you sent audio,
Mhm.
like 17 minutes
Mhm.
long, of what you
Mhm.
felt, what you saw. Um, can we share some of the things that you felt when you were doing the session with me?
Mhm. I'll try to remember because when I record the audio, I'm usually still in that altered state
Okay.
of channeling, and a lot of times, when I'm fully out, I don't exactly remember what all I spoke, and sometimes there are channeled messages that come out. But I, as far as I remember yours, I felt it more viscerally. I had visions of colors, like I was seeing different colors, and other than that, I didn't really see mm, many visions throughout. It was more like the chakras. I was very aware of the chakras, and I think it was more in the solar plexus and the heart, and then the third eye, I think, the crown, those centers I was feeling. I think I did have a vision towards the end, and it was you. Um, like there was this beautiful stream, and there were like lush green, like nature along the stream, and you were probably like mm, paddling or canoeing, something like that. And it was like what how I interpret that is that you're being guided to spend more time in nature. uh that's
Hmm.
how I interpret it. And overall there was also an imbalance in the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, uh which is creates our electromagnetic field, because our right side is electric and our left side is magnetic. The masculine is electric and the feminine is magnetic. And so when there's an imbalance, you kind of you feel out of sorts. Now when these energies are being channeled to you, and they are working, they're prioritizing certain areas, certain chakras of the body, certain imbalances, and that is being brought into harmony and coherence and equanimity. uh, you can say that there's uh, some type of detox that happens, because all the energies that need to be released, start being released. And that can happen, that integration process can happen over some time. I've had people message me a week after the session and they say, I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling the energies. So, there's a certain shift that happens, and some people feel it as, being very tired. They almost feel like they need to sleep more, or some people feel like, um, emotional. There's like an emotional release because there are emotional energies and emotional toxins that are released. Um, so in your case, I feel like the release happened in such a way that you were feeling that fatigue, because like you mentioned, you're always on the go. And you know so you had that buildup of energies that needed to be released. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Yeah.
Um, when you talk about the male female energy, and I believe you said the left side is the female, the right side is the male. It doesn't matter what gender you are or you identify with, there's always going to be both within us. What did you detect in me? Do you recall? Because I'm trying to remember what you said in your audio.
Mm, um I yeah, I've done a few sessions since, so I'm having a hard time
I
recalling
get
it.
you.
Like I said, I'm still in that altered state when because as soon as I'm done channeling, I open my phone and I start speaking, because I'm still in that state of recollecting what happened through the session. So it was like they were definitely not in sync. That much I can tell you.
When you say not in sync, what does that mean?
It means that, there is an imbalance between those two energies. And usually what happens is the left side, and I say this regardless of the gender, the left side is the feminine side. It's ruled by um, or it's governed by the lunar energy, by the moon's energy. And we have three main channels, the central channel, which is known as the Sushumna, and the left is the Ida channel. These are vibrational pathways that channel life force. And the right side is the Pingala, which is the solar channel. And so, now even if someone was to become mindful of their left nostril and their right nostril and the breathing that's happening, you will notice that one is more active than the other. And this keeps alternating throughout the day. But for a certain time, like if you feel like one uh, nostril is feeling blocked for a longer time, it's almost like a sign that that side is not balanced. So this sacred dance of these two energies happen because, like, we are in that rhythm, and our rhythm is in sync with the rhythm of the earth, the rhythm of the creation. And so, we experience day and night. So when the left side is active, we naturally feel sleepy. Like we feel more in that restful state because it's activating the lunar channel. And the right is more solar and like more, like a active energy that makes us more alert. And so, when there is like this is all, our modern day lifestyle where we're not following the circadian rhythms, and we are staying late. We are staying up late. We are looking at our electronic devices when we should put them away after a certain time.
Sure.
And so that creates that imbalance. And also because, like I said, the left side is more magnetic, it tends to draw more energies to that side. And these are energies also from the collective field around us. So we have our auric field, which spans a few feet outside our physical body, and then outside that is the collective field. And we are with people, and we are maybe in if you're working in an office, there are lots of people around you. So we are constantly surrounded by energies, and we tend to absorb. And this includes, you know, uh, negative energies. And I don't necessarily like the word negative, but just to give an understanding. Like, for
Well,
example, you walk into a room and suddenly I'm sure you've experienced this, where you walk into a room and suddenly you feel like, oh my God, what just happened here? You feel that thickness, that dense energy, and it doesn't make you feel good. You feel like leaving that room. So that's what I'm talking about. Those types of energy will then get magnetized into your field, and they will remain stuck. They will create an obstruction or restriction in the flow of life force and impact your energy ultimately.
hmm. If we don't want to call it negative energy, because it may support the individuals that are around you, then we'll just call it energy that doesn't support you.
Mhm.
And is it true that that's why you hear you are the sum of the five people you spend the most time with? Like if you're spending time with people that really aren't the best for you, you're picking up on everything that they're putting out intentionally or not. And then if you
Mhm.
wonder why things aren't going the way you anticipate them to go, maybe that's the reason why. And it's not just their influence, it's also their energy that you're not even seeing, but it's happening around you.
Absolutely. Have you heard of the theory of entanglement?
Share.
Okay. So they did this experiment, and they discovered that when um, two particles come together and uh, then they're separated, like they're far apart, when one particle changes the direction, the other one follows it, even if they're like light years apart, you know. So what I'm trying to say here is that, we are all connected in the quantum field. Everything is one. There's no separation. We feel the separation and duality in this earth realm, but on a quantum level, everything is one. There's no separation. So when you come into connection with someone, and particularly, people you are spending time with all the time, and they tend to have a lot of toxic behavior or toxic patterns or toxic energies within them, you are going to absorb that.
Hmm.
And that is going to impact your energy. Yeah.
I have to imagine that you may feel a certain way and not even realize why, but it's the energy of the people around you. And you
Mhm.
could say to yourself, I don't know, I don't feel like myself. This is not, I'm not in the, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel right. But it's because of those around you. What have you heard after, like I've shared what I felt after our session, but what have people told you after having a session? What they felt, what they experienced? What have they told you?
um well, there are times when people, journal after the session, and they have pages and pages written, and they take
Hmm.
photographs of that journal entry and share it with me, and I am blown away by what they've written in their journal, because it's like I said, I only channel for 30 minutes. It's a very brief time, but a lot can happen in that session. And so, there have been times when people were experiencing a lot of pain, and the pain was gone. Some people, like in your case, you were feeling tired, like that happens many times, where people for that the day of the session, they will feel tired, and then next day they will wake up feeling like just full of vitality, and in a very positive state, in a very, a balanced state of being. And they will say to me that they were feeling more clear, they were able to make more decisions. I had this one client say to me that she when she goes shopping, she always has it will always takes her a long time to decide. She doesn't have that clarity. Like, she will just pick something up and then change her mind, and then like keep doing that, and it takes her hours to shop. And so she went shopping after the session, and she was surprised how quickly she was able to decide. So, which meant
Wow.
that she had clarity in her field, and she was able to clearly make decisions. For some people, they have
Hmm.
shared with me that they felt so much clarity in their being, and it was hard for them to be upset with anything. Like, even if something bothered them, they were able to release that right away. Like, it didn't, it was not as impactful as it would have been before. There have been people who have shared that during the session, they had a massive download, and it was their next business plan. They literally wrote everything down, and it gave them like a business plan,
Wow.
because those people, entered with a specific intention, a
Tension.
question. Yeah. And so that is important. I always encourage people to have an open-ended intention for the session, because if you remember, I said one of the qualities of Reiki is it brings divine guidance, because it's the all-knowing life force energy. And you are, during the session, connected with your highest self, which has designed this life. And so for your next steps, it brings that guidance. And over I've done thousands of sessions, and what I've noticed is that some things happen without an exception in every session. One is that you always release energies that are no longer serving you, which brings balance and clarity in your field, in your energy. And the second thing is, it always brings you into alignment with your path. And it will always bring that guidance, like, I need to do this. This is a good thing for me. And I need to do, like you said, you picked up a book, a bestseller, Power of Now, which is, I feel like it's one of the most, um, you know, like pivotal books that I've read years ago.
Wow.
And I remember a lot of it. And, it's a very impactful book. So that is guiding you. That's your higher self guided you to that book, because
And I want to
you need
share.
to make,
I want to
yeah.
share. Somebody told me about that book Friday,
Mhm,
obviously after our session. It wasn't more than 3 minutes after they told me. I ordered it.
mhm,
Came the next day. It was just like, yeah, no brainer. Getting that book. That's the one. They didn't say anything. They're just like,
mhm,
yeah, it's a really good book. I read this a while ago, and yeah, it was interesting. And right away, I'm
mhm,
like, that's the book. I'm getting that book. Um, I didn't know that I could set an intention. So I don't want to say I should have, but next time I will. Um, there is not a doubt in my mind. The things that I felt, um, the clarity, all of that came from your session. Like I've had sessions before. This was times 10 in terms of those
mhm,
feelings and all of that. And the final thought here, you in your love notes talked about water, the canoe. I'm trying to remember if I ever told you that story, but there was somebody that did Reiki on me a year or so ago and said the same thing.
mhm.
So I'm trying to remember if I ever told you that story. I don't know if I don't think I did.
I I don't remember.
And you said the I'm exact same thing. And what is so impactful about it is I love kayaking. You called it a kayak or a canoe, same thing. That's my Zen spot. I will just go and
Mhm,
float, think, literally put my feet up. And, you referenced like lush green, like weeds and reeds and things like that. The other person did too. And that's exactly where I go. I
mhm,
I like salt water because there's more life and there's normally, reeds and weeds around it. Over and fresh is fine, but that's my preference. But that is my Zen spot. Have not gone thus far because it's just warming up here, but I can't wait to go. Fix my old junky Jeep, which I transport them on. I'm ready. So you brought that up,
mhm,
and so did the other person, like, a couple of years ago. Just amazing. I've already told a ton of people
mhm,
about our session. It was just,
mhm.
and I feel like
You,
go ahead.
no, it's like, because I'm connected with your energy, and you say that that is your Zen spot. It's like your highest self telling me, like, you need to do that. That's going to bring such beautiful energy into your there's such groundedness. And so,
Yeah.
it's like a message, you need to do that.
Yeah. And now the message
Yeah.
has come through clear twice. We all know the answer. I already know that answer. It's just things get in the way. Wow. Just amazing. All I'm going to say is, and we're out of time here, that I feel like I'm sitting on top of something, on top of the world, if you will. I don't know. Share your website, Purnima.
It's innerjourneyreiki.com. And also people can find me on Instagram at Purnima_Chaudhari.
Thank you so much for the session. Thanks for everything. And
yes.
Also for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Amazing. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.